Hey, nothing wrong with having a butterfly tattoo, okay?
Oh, is this where you tell me you have
I have a wasp tattoo.
Oh.
Closest thing to a butterfly tattoo I've got.
Yet.
Welcome back to the Shaken Not Scared podcast. Here with you as always, your hosts Erick and Vivi. Today we're going to be talking about the 2005 movie The Beasts of Bray Road, directed by Leigh Scott. Before we get into that, how are you, Vivi?
Okay.
That's it?
Yeah.
Oh,
we're
simple.
Recording on a Monday, so I have
coffee in you?
A ton of coffee, still tired, depression.
I was about to add that one in.
Yeah, how are you?
It's about the same. Yeah, I'm happy that my niece finally got her vaccine because she was the last one. She's 12 years old, so they were like on the edge of whether or not they could. But now that she is, now we'd have like nothing to worry about. Just ripping our masks off everywhere.
To the wind.
Happy stuff.
She's ready for hot girl summer.
She's gonna cringe when she hears that.
Sorry, Shayla.
But let's jump into the creepy content. What do you got for me?
Well, this week I didn't watch as much as last week. I feel like we had a lot more to talk about last time. The new season of Haunted on Netflix came out. If you've listened to us before, you know I watched the Latin American one, and I've seen the other two previous seasons.
Any good stories?
I've only seen the first one. I feel like with that show, it's a mixed bag of some stories are pretty good and some are just kind of meh. And then the first one was like meh to me. You know, I remember the show that I used to love when I was a kid. It was called Paranormal Witness. And I feel like every time I watch one of these paranormal reenactment shows, I'm trying to find that high that I had with that show. Because it was it could be terrible, right? I watched it as a kid, but I remember it being so entertaining. I haven't found anything that I like as much as that.
Damn, so bad review for Haunted.
Again, I only saw the first episode, and they definitely have better quality episodes than others, so
that's good.
It might get better.
Awesome.
I'll let you know.
Yeah, I'll check it out too. When you're watching...
When I'm falling asleep.
Yeah, passed out, and I'm just
and leave the TV on, yeah.
Sitting there in the dark.
What'd you watch this week?
I didn't watch anything, but we are reading Cujo by Stephen King. We have a book club with our friends, fancy people.
Because we're so old.
Yeah. The plan is to eventually have them as guests, so stay tuned. We're not going to mention who they are. We have 1,000 times and a half. Hint, hint, they're from Boston. But we're going to watch the movie and probably cover that in a future episode. But the book is fun. I love how cute Cujo is. I hate that he's, his tragic ending, but everything that I read, I'm like, oh, Loki. I think of Loki.
Well, that's sad because, he gets rabies.
Yeah, I know, and he doesn't even know it. Dogs are so pure, we don't deserve them. Vivi eye rolled.
Well, just because Loki's been such a teenager these last couple days.
You'll see in the video, too, he did not.
Oh, yeah, we included our own beast in the Beast of Bray Road video.
Nice transition, though. Did you have anything else before we move on to what we're drinking today?
Go for it.
So this one I was excited for. We've had it in the fridge for a couple weeks because, as we mentioned a couple episodes ago, too, we went to Whitewater, Wisconsin, where Salem Brewing is located. They have a couple of other spots where you can get their beer, but that seems to be their HQ. We picked up a couple of different beers. We got Beast of Bray Road Amber Ale for this week's episode, recommended by Chris G. Christensen. He is the brewmaster at Salem Brewing.
We met him when we went.
Yeah, we did. Yeah, we met him. It was really cool. Just a little bit about Salem Brewing from Whitewater. The name Second Salem comes from the early 20th century when locals referred to Whitewater as Second Salem due to its reputation.
Witch trials?
Due to its reputation as a site of witch gatherings at the Witch Tower. It's apparently the Star and Park Water Tower. My aunt has shown it to me before. It's the one that's on their Witch Tower beer, which they also have at Second Salem. Strange murders. Strange murders. Unearthly creatures in the lake, and other unexplained phenomena.
Well, we watched a documentary to go with the movie today. It's a hot spot of the occult.
I was wondering if he was referring to that political thing that everyone talks about.
Oh, the satanic government?
Yeah. I was like, is that in Wisconsin?
The government is in Wisconsin.
Yeah. The Beast of Bray Road beer, I can read the description from the website if you're ready for it.
Give it to me.
For decades, the Beast of Bray Road haunted the countryside between Whitewater and Elkhorn. After a long night of terrorizing the neighbors, we believe a 7-foot-tall, 400-pound hairy biped would have reached for this American amber ale. The Beast of Bray Road Amber Ale has voluminous body, malty complexity, and pronounced spicy, herbal, and piney hop character, and holds its own with just about anything on the dinner table.
Ready to try it.
Let's do it.
I don't think you could hear that.
She dick.
It's a pretty cool color.
Mm-hmm.
It is an amber ale.
Yeah, for sure. It's definitely amber.
Mm-hmm.
It's got a very thick taste.
What I like about their beers is you expect it to be like your typical beer, and then it hits you with like a bunch of flavors that you're not expecting in a good way.
Yeah, I loved all the beers that they had there. I know that the waiter, I forgot his name, but
Xander.
Thanks. Yes. Oh, yes, Xander. Yeah, if you're listening to this, probably not, but thanks for the service. He was really cool.
He was super nice.
Super welcoming. He definitely said that the ones that were our favorite weren't his favorite. He said he had others.
I tried a couple of his favorites, and yeah, I get it. It was like the lighter, more citrusy summer stuff.
Well, that being said, I did see their Untapped. If you aren't aware of what that is, Untapped is an app where you can go rate your beers. But it has a 3.6 on there.
Cool. I was going to give it a 3.5 out of 5.
Same here. Really good. Cheers. Try it out. Go to Whitewater or Lake Geneva or their third location. They have a website, so.
Are we doing things a little weird today?
We are. The movie in general is a little weird.
It's short, first of all.
Definitely not like super highly produced. It's from 2005.
And you can tell it's from 2005 with what the characters are wearing and stuff. It's also not like super popular.
No, it has really bad reviews on IMDb.
Oh man.
The guy Leigh Scott, who's the director, he's made other movies like Shark Piranha or Piranha Shark. It's like saying that this guy
did a Sharknado.
Directed Sharknado.
Yeah.
You're not necessarily going to go in thinking it's going to be the greatest movie ever. I mean, it has its highs and lows. It's so bad that it's good.
Yes. That's what I love about horror. Even when it's bad, it's good. It was a fun time to watch. If it's not clear already, this movie is based on an urban legend in Wisconsin. You can tell by the description of the beer.
Yeah, Vivi's going to do the fun facts today.
I guess I'll jump into it. It's not an urban legend that I've heard of until we talked to your aunt.
I had told you about it before because she had mentioned that on occasion they would take head counts of homeless people in the counties because there was worry that people were disappearing, or there are actually people disappearing.
And they
sometimes
accredited
they would chalk it up to, is it that, right?
Yeah.
I'm sure not officially, but...
Yeah, I think that's an example of people wanting to find like a mystical reason for why something happened. But it gave us this fun legend and this interesting movie.
To say the least.
To say the least. So, the Bray Road Beast, or the Wisconsin Werewolf, or the Beast of Bray Road, he's got quite a few names actually. Dogman is one of them, is reported to be a humanoid wolf-like creature, allegedly witnessed in or near the rural community of Elkhorn, Walworth County, Wisconsin. And it has since become part of Wisconsin's folklore. And there are several books, documentaries, and even the horror movie today that we're covering on the subject. The most common known and the kind of person that put this story on the map was Linda Godfrey, because she investigated this story as a skeptic, she says. And she became so involved, she came to believe in the beast herself. It's named for the road that it was first sighted on in 1936, Bray Road. Do you want to hear what it looks like?
Just Farmland Street.
Oh, I'm talking about the werewolf.
Oh.
You're like, I've been there. I know what it looks like.
They all look the same. It's just road and farm.
It's usually described as a hairy humanoid with canine features. There's reports of it being anywhere between 5 feet tall to 7 feet tall when standing.
Honestly, not that tall.
Yeah, I'm 5 feet tall. You sure you just didn't see a hairy person walking around?
If a man can go running around punching a kangaroo in the face, I can punch this Bray Road Beast in the face.
It's about the same height. What's interesting is that there's usually sightings of it like eating or hunting or scavenging, but it tends to like leave people alone once they try to confront it, which I thought was a weird thing about it, you know?
They're just big softies, babe.
It could be.
Have you ever seen the movie with Bigfoot, Harry? Remember that? I forget what the movie was called, but it's like the family takes Bigfoot in and he's just a big softie.
No, I do not remember it. I just think of when I ever want to talk about kid movies in the middle of my legend here. Bigfoot in a Goofy movie where they go camping is like what I think about.
Or the Abominable Snowman in Monsters, Inc.
Ah, yes. So while the first original sightings were in 1936, most of the most recent sightings were in the 80s and 90s. Again, there's reports of people driving on this road and seeing a wolf-like creature keeping up with the car that's going up to 55 miles per hour, which would definitely freak me out.
Oh, for sure.
In the documentary we saw, there was a ton of like speculation, like people don't really know what animals look like. Like honestly, someone could have seen a deer and been terrified. Like, you know, skeptics are saying those types of things.
People just don't know what animals look like.
Yeah, no,
I was like, us with the squirrel.
Yeah, we didn't know what it was looking. The creature is said to run and walk on all fours or its legs or just its hind legs, and it has been spied sitting on its hunches kneeling like a man. You know when you crouch kind of. It has other names such as the man wolf, the bear wolf, and the indigenous dog man. It's said to have gray and brown fur and resembles a wolf with yellow eyes and pointed ears. You know, your typical werewolf story. In the documentary we watched, there was like...
The documentary, by the way, is called The Bray Beast.
It seems like it was done locally. Interviewing Linda Gottfried, who kind of kicked off this story.
People would seek her out because she did end up kind of being the main person investigating overall. She even wrote a book.
The story originally garnished so much attention through like a tabloid, like one of those, The Star, the National Enquirer type tabloids.
Mm-hmm. And she's the one who coined the term, the Bray Beast.
Bray Beast, I believe. Well, at least with the title of her book, which is explained in the documentary. That documentary was like kind of weird because we thought it was going to be like, you know, recountings of like the witnesses and stuff like that. But it went into a little bit how like this area is associated with the occult. They even went into like how nobody talks about the Native Americans that were there on the land before then, and they have their legends of skinwalkers and things like that.
The documentary focused on why potentially this beast could exist here and kind of goes into the history of like werewolves and talks about Egyptian stories and mythology and other things that refer to what lichens and things are.
Yeah.
But towards the end, it brings up this guy who has video footage, quote unquote, but it's just fog.
Oh, yeah. Go watch it for yourself. I think it's a cool way to bring attention to a local legend.
Which it seems like from their point that people don't really want.
Except for Syfy Salem, who's like legit making beers out of it. Now, I feel like I've been talking for a long time. I'll go into a quick overview of the movie and then Eric's going to sum it up for us. I'll give you a minute. Okay, it's a super quick overview. I'll read it. A new sheriff in Wisconsin.
From Chicago.
Oh, they emphasize a lot that he's from Chicago. Investigates brutal slayings by a werewolf. That's it.
They're like, what are you from, fucking Schaumburg or something?
Oh, yeah, they do insult like one of the girls saying she's from Schaumburg. I'm like,
thanks.
I mean, we're not from Schaumburg, but let me get my timer. Are you ready? Are you loose? Oh, man, all the popping.
Oh, the cracking. It's because I'm about to turn into the beast after this 1 minute.
1, 2, 3, go.
Okay, so the movie starts off with a bunch of people in the middle of Wisconsin, and it's kind of just like the whole point is to say this is a small town. Everyone's it's like a bunch of hicks, and there's like the cops, and it's a very small town. Everybody knows everybody, which is typical of places like this. There's a beast immediately kills this girl who was at the bar, and the beast starts to do a lot of random things. There's a lot of random scenes with the beast killing people, and then kind of connecting the dots with the cop, and the cop starts to get approached about these things happening. There's this guy who's a wife beater. He's a piece of shit. The wife kills him and doesn't tell the cops, which is funny. But they start connecting the dots. There's these three brothers who are pieces of shit, and everyone's a piece of shit in this. Okay, obviously. And the two of them get killed. The third brother's like, I need the help from the cops, and the cops and him work together to go kill the beast, and so they end up going, the cop has this relationship with the bartender. Oh my god, I got 10 seconds. He has a relationship with the bartender, he ends up having like this whole thing, and the bartender ends up being the beast, and then they all end up having to kill them, and then everyone fucking dies except for them.
That's not best.
Good. No, it's not good, because I was like, I have to talk about how...
I like how you worked in their pieces of shit at least 3 times in under 1 minute.
That's what I said. Everyone's just a piece of shit in this.
Well, they're portrayed as like...
assholes.
Villains, right? So you don't feel bad when they're killed.
I missed a lot of details about the bartender.
You did. Also, you said that the wife killed the husband, and she didn't. The wolf.
Oh yeah, he did.
Killed him, and she like was gonna shoot the wolf, but waited till it killed her.
I was
husband.
just thinking about the wife holding the shotgun, and then later lying about how
everyone has shotguns in this movie, which I get. It's like a rural farm
Texas
town.
or Wisconsin, Jesus Christ.
Same thing.
One of the guys in the documentary mentions, he's like, all the farmers know each other. If someone's on someone else's land, you're already on the phone saying, hey, there's somebody on your land.
Jesus.
So, yeah.
Can't be wandering around.
Which is crazy, because if you've driven through there, the land and houses are so spaced apart that like you could die and no one would know. False.
Not if you're in your own house. You ain't dying on your front lawn. If you have a heart attack in your house, they're not gonna know.
This just means you need to throw yourself into the front lawn so your neighbors can see.
Just throw yourself out the window so
they can call you and be like, there's somebody on your lawn. It's you.
It's me dying? No, thank you. But yeah, let's get into this movie because you just skip through a whole bunch of details. This film is very clearly filmed in 2005.
Also, please correct me if Hicks is not PC. I don't know. There's no real other way that I can think of to describe
the way that they portrayed these town folk.
Yeah.
Well, they portrayed some of them badly and then others just like as normal folk.
Quote unquote normal.
It's weird that the sheriff who's from the city, they give him a lot of shit. I feel like that's very true to small towns where if you're an outsider, you're always going to get a lot of shit.
What are you, big city? Big city, you want to bring in your beliefs and thoughts? It's not that easy out here, boy.
Is that something they legit said? I don't remember.
I think the Hicks did.
Yeah.
The three brothers.
The three brothers that are kind of assholes.
Not kind of. They're definitely assholes.
Yeah. Well, two more than the other one.
He ends up being like a hero.
A redemption, yeah. Like you said, we open up in a bar. The bartender, Kelly, is kicking everyone out because it's the end of the night. They are all just hanging out.
The one dude has very 2000s emo hair.
Oh, yes.
I don't mean that judgingly. I had emo hair. I had purple hair and the straightened.
Yeah, we'll post it on the Instagram so you can see that Eric wasn't too far off from these fashions. My favorite thing about these fashions are like the fake tattoos that they put on everybody. Oh, they're always on like their boobs or like
the one guy has
belly buttons.
Mother.
Yeah. Mother. What is he, Norman Bates?
This is just the tattoo that everyone and their mom
gets. It is. They have girls with like butterflies, which is another, I guess, like the girl version of the heart mother tattoo.
Could have been worse. When I was in a quinceañera in high school, they gave us fake tattoo sleeves.
So I remember those. They were terrible. Who let fashion be a thing in the early 2000s? The dialogue in this film's not great. It's all about how like one of the brothers is trying to get laid and the other one's like...
The girl is literally standing in front of him and the brother is standing there and he's like, can't you see I'm trying to get laid? And the girl's like, that's really great. That's so great. And then drives off and dies.
That's why she died. This is the first time in a horror movie she died because she didn't go have sex.
Her death is immediate though.
It is.
And it's brutal. You know what? The deaths in general in this movie, although it's not great,
man, yeah.
Deaths are pretty gruesome.
Some more than others are better. With her death, her car stalls. And you said she starts pouring oil into her car.
Who does that?
I don't know. I don't know anything about cars. And then she calls one person for help. And that's when the beast comes up behind her window and like attacks her, slashes her face. No transition. She immediately starts running.
She's just in the forest running.
Next scene, and then she is killed.
She's ripped in half and her intestines are falling all over the place. The beast is interesting looking. I feel like it looks more like a swamp monster than a werewolf.
For being a probably lower budget movie, it's not terrible. I think even big horror movies make this mistake. The less you see a monster, the better. Because you're left to be like, what does it look like?
This one's just in front of your face. Right
away. At the beginning when they're kind of showing hints of it is when it looks scarier. And I think they should have kept that and maybe it would have made the movie a little more
It's actually kind of cute. You know what it reminds me of? Creepshow. Do you remember the beast in the crate?
Mm-hmm, Fluffy.
He kind of looks like Fluffy.
I guess all fluffy beasts kind of look alike.
Cute.
Cute. So that's the opening scene, and then the next one is when we're introduced to the sheriff who's from Chicago, and everyone's making fun of him for being from the big city, right?
Later he explains that he left because he had a wife and got divorced and wanted a new start.
And he's like, the city wasn't big enough for the both of us.
The storyline in this movie, I told you, is very much like those monster movies. We were talking about how in Godzilla and Kong, you kind of don't really give a shit about the people.
Oh, it's all about the monster.
Monster.
It's a creature feature.
I felt very forced that they needed to give everybody a backstory.
A little bit. I will point out that in the beginning scene, the sheriff finds the car himself because it's like an abandoned vehicle. He is collecting evidence and he's actually wearing gloves. In so many movies, they don't wear gloves and collect evidence.
They're literally just grabbing it with their pinky and
lick it. And they're like,
semen.
It's blood. Oh. Either or. So he's immediately thinking it's something suspicious and he tells kind of like his partners that. And they're like, small towns don't get big time crimes like this, dude. It's probably nothing.
False.
Dahmer.
Wisconsin.
Gein. All Wisconsin.
If I go to Wisconsin, I'm immediately expecting to get murdered.
I know I'm going to get murdered. Probably by a deer that flew out in the middle of the road.
With a knife.
And the beast behind it.
Yeah, he goes to the cops. The one cop says that she saw the car and that there was no blood on it. And he's like, no, dude, there was definitely blood on it. Everyone's kind of just brushing him off.
He wants to further investigate the car, and that leads him to this couple that is always in domestic disputes.
There's a lot of slut shaming in general. I mean, it's 2005.
Yeah, it was the early 2000s. It was everywhere.
Every woman except for Kelly and the cop are called a slut or a whore.
Even Kelly gets called one at one point. So, yeah, that's where he goes to, like, question, like, yo, is this your car? And he's like, I gave it to my sister-in-law, who's, like, no good. And the wife...
Her sister is the girl who died at the beginning.
She's got, like, a bruise on her face. The makeup is not good. It kind of looks like she burned herself with a flat iron.
If a cop were to see that a guy has definitely just beat his wife, isn't it kind of your duty
Well,
to
you get
do
the
something about it?
vibe that it's a small town, and no, you can't do anything unless the woman presses charges. They make a comment that, like, she's constantly calling the cops on him. Anyways, this guy keeps investigating, and he questions the 3 brothers that were seen with the victim the night before.
The next scene is those kids playing video games. They have an interaction with the beast through the window. This is what I was saying, that the movie is kind of weird because characters are introduced randomly. I think it's just to say that everyone is starting to see this thing come around and kind of flood the cops to say things are happening. Okay,
I guess it doesn't really matter, but those 2 attacks, the one where the brother-in-law gets attacked and the wife and kids get attacked, happens like the same night.
There's even the guy who comes that we said looks like Tyler, who's like, he's missing cattle.
What up, Tyler?
Yeah, what up, Tyler? I think he listens. This lady with the kids are saying, yeah, we shot at it through the window, we didn't really get it.
Yeah, like my favorite thing in this movie is that everyone's ready to shoot, no hesitation, and they're skilled. They're like, bullseye.
Even for the mom to have been like, get the hell out the way, kid, because she tells the kid to open the curtain. She's like, move out the way, and just blasts the hole.
Love that. It's really funny because when they're all in the police station,
the exposition scene right away.
The exposition is so bad. Sheriff, you didn't know, but in the 1800s, everyone died.
The same cop who was like, fuck you, you're stupid.
Yeah, like, really? That was it? That was the whole backstory? This movie's great in the worst way.
It is.
There's town folk and they're clearly upset. My favorite thing is that there's this character named Sandy and she's like, yeah, it's true. I'm writing about it on my weblog.
She had April Ludgate vibes.
She looks exactly like her. And then Pamela, the like acting sheriff, until this other dude takes over. She's like, just because you got glasses doesn't mean
I know you're all
smart
with your glasses.
Which is like such an early 2000s insult.
Yes, I am.
Yes, and
I've got a podcast.
She had a weblog in 2005, okay? And they compare her to Geraldo Rivera, who was not a good...
Because she dropped out of community college?
I don't know if he did that.
And has a show out of her basement?
Same. I might as well have.
Who is that? You knew right away.
He is a reporter who was like accredited with like really sensationalizing the satanic panic of the 1980s. More in it for the publicity than the facts person. He gets criticized a lot more now than he did back then.
We get introduced to the cryptozoologist.
There you go, because this guy comes in, he's like, you got a cryptid on your hands.
Yeah, you got werewolfing licenses? Everybody's out here just shooting deer. You ain't got a license for a werewolf.
Oh yeah, because the sheriffs are trying to like still charge for hunting season. Then he's like, we'll charge for werewolf hunting license.
Yeah, which is funny, right? Because you'd expect that from a small town that doesn't get very many tourists. You'd think, well,
hunting season is probably their tourism.
Well, hunting season, and then also you're like, even if this isn't real, we could potentially make money off of this.
Yeah, it's like Mothman. Mothman's like a huge part of that town because it's what brings people in. And there's like statues and restaurants dedicated to it.
Oh, for sure. It's like when you're in Salem and, you know, as shitty as
it's all about the witch trials, yeah.
Yeah. I think it was on the What If podcast. They were talking about this town that had this supposed Bigfoot sightings. And it's apparently like the most quote-unquote confirmed Bigfoot sightings anywhere else.
I think I've heard of this place.
And the people who like give Bigfoot tours to go potentially see Bigfoot, they have a guy go out and dress as
hilarious.
Bigfoot. But they're out here telling people that it's real, and it's like, well, if we're gonna have them do this, they might as well see something. We gotta get something exciting for the guests. It's like, dude, no, that makes you less credible.
Yeah.
Even if there's a real Bigfoot out there and you're saying there's a real one, but we're gonna just
what if the real one had passed and you're thinking it's the other dude and you wouldn't know?
Michael Myers style, he just killed the guy dressed as Bigfoot. And he's just been this guy this whole time.
And he's just standing, not even moving, not even hiding. In wide pan.
But yeah, so the cryptozoologist gets introduced.
Shows up.
He's from Minnesota.
Minnesota.
He puts his 2 cents in and says that he's going to follow the cop and help and start to
investigate. He becomes very involved.
Oh, he's
he claims he's writing a thesis.
And then we get a shirtless cop scene. You know, you were the one who said they blew their entire budget on this shirtless cop scene because he's got like abs and he's flexing, drinking a beer.
The budget on the trainer for this guy to do this scene.
Every movie has to have a scene where the main guy takes his shirt off and shows off all the training they put him through for the scene.
Every movie, like a Marvel movie, you gotta put your actor through a body transformation.
Yes, unless you're Christian Bale. He was completely
he's gone through some crazy,
and then he had to put on Batman weight, and then he had to go back for some other role, and he's like, I'm not doing that again.
Was it American Hustlers that he had to put on like 30 pounds and be fat for that role?
Bigger. Yeah, this shit's insane. So anyway, this is what this cop went through, because this is the only scene where he's shirtless.
And then, like, this sex worker shows up out of nowhere at his house.
Allegedly, because it's just every female character, I feel like, in this movie, other than some of the main ones, are just seen as this type of character.
They are.
Every girl in this movie, where the cop is in the bar questioning people, the girls sitting at the bar are like showing their breasts to him, like, you want to have a good time? All the girls are like this.
That's this character. I think those two are implied to be sex workers.
Okay.
I don't know about the rest because they do just portray them terribly.
It is terrible, yeah.
With their butterfly tattoos. Yeah, she just shows up at his house out of nowhere.
And says he's gay for denying her.
Not getting with her. Weird. Okay.
Yeah, this whole movie is problematic in that way.
It's the early 2000s problematic.
That doesn't make it okay, but still.
No, it doesn't. I'm just
keep that in mind.
Re-emphasizing that it was a different time.
Yeah.
My favorite thing is like she gets in the car and she's like, this address. Oh wait, I'm the driver.
Oh, I'm sorry. It's not Uber or Lyft.
That didn't exist yet.
I know, but she acted like it did.
She could tell the future.
You have to put the address in the app, girl.
First of all.
She like grabs a cigarette and then starts just climbing up.
I thought this was funny. She grabs a cigarette from her bra
It's
and it's broken and they use the shot and in the next scene it's not broken.
Oh, did they? I didn't see that. I just thought it was part of it. Oh no.
It's pretty funny.
That's
it's
awesome.
like obviously broken too.
It's in half.
Hanging like cartoon
and she lights
style.
the hanging part.
This movie's great.
That's why I didn't even notice the next scene. I didn't even care to look at it because at this point the beast is on top of the car and is about to kill her. So you're just anticipating that.
Yeah, her kill is pretty cool. She gets her head brutally
ripped off. Yeah, guts everywhere.
What this movie lacks in good actors and makes up for in Blood and Guts.
They keep talking about how the cops keep getting a ton of calls from different people who want to come and investigate. Mm-hmm. They mentioned Supernatural Kingdom keeps calling for info. The crypto dude tells the story of how pandas
were once thought to be a myth. Yeah, hilarious.
He's like, the people believed that there was this beast that was white and black.
And only lived off bamboo.
And that's how we discovered the panda. It's like super dramatic for no reason.
It's great.
He's like, so this thing could just be something else that we haven't discovered yet. Which, true, sure. So these random kids find the girl's head, and it does not look anything like her head. Did you notice that her head looks like...
It's the girl from the beginning.
Oh, is that why it was so decayed? Okay, because her eyes are like bulging out of
I'm
the
pretty
skull.
sure it was the girl from the beginning.
Okay, they were looking for the bones. They're like, well, if an animal's eating it, you're not going to find the body, you're going to find the bones. The revelations in this movie are funny, because just they're all standing around CSI style, trying to think about how they're going to find the body.
Wow!
Yeah. There's plenty of moments for that. Yeah. Look for bones instead of a body.
They mention it's because the human head is like the least consumable part
False.
of the body.
You ever had pig's head and goat head?
Okay, they said human.
I'm just saying. You ever had goat head?
Yeah, that's Vidya, isn't it? Like part of Vidya?
Yeah. Shout out to my uncle from Wisconsin, but he like straight up grabs the fork and puts it in the eyeball of the goat.
Oh yeah, I've seen my uncles do that and it grosses me out so much. I'm like, why?
You know what's funny is that, again, being Mexican.
You're Mexican?
Oh
no.
If you had known that, you wouldn't be here anymore. But it's funny, I'm like one of very little minorities in my office. And I've mentioned how we eat cow tongue and we eat like pig's feet. And
we don't waste any.
And goat's head. There's like tacos de cabeza, which is tacos of head meat. And they're like so grossed out by it.
Yeah.
Which is insane. Because it's normal to us. It's completely
it is normal.
Not even like a delicacy thing. It's just like, you want tacos de lengua? Which is tongue tacos?
We're having a big party. We'll go kill the goat.
Oh, yeah. When I was in Mexico, they literally brought a goat that they had just slaughtered.
Yeah.
Which is kind of a messed up way to...
Listen, it's organic, grass-fed.
It truly was
not
as
processed.
Organic as possible. They literally saw it before it got put on the plate.
You can't get more organic than
it had a name.
So you said you wanted to point out the best scene in the movie.
Oh my god, yeah. This just points out the gem that we watched, okay? So they're in the forest, the cop and the cryptozoologist, and they're looking for these bones. They take a pause. All you hear is road in the background.
Yeah,
it just
all the
sounds like
cars
a hum.
zooming by.
And the cryptozoologist stops and he's like, wait, do you hear that? And the cop's like, I don't hear anything. He's like, exactly. No birds. And cue the birds right
chirping
at the moment.
at that exact second. He's trying to say there's no birds, no squirrels. They're afraid, which I feel like is a common trope in horror movies or creature features.
Oh, they just used a ton of tropes in this entire movie.
Oh, this movie's an entire trope. But I'm like, couldn't you have edited that in post?
Oh, you could have, especially with the road sound in the background that's just louder than anything anybody is saying.
Except the birds.
Except the birds, yeah. So the dude and the cop bro out, and then they have the run-in with the brothers.
One of the brothers is being confrontational with the sheriff for, like, whatever reason. And they're all just like, it's not that serious. And they all pull guns out on each other. Even the bartender in the back pulls out a gun.
Yeah, we haven't necessarily been focusing on the bartender, but she plays a huge role. In the beginning, there's this quick interaction that he owes her a date, the cop.
They clearly got a thing going on. This scene kind of reminded me of that meme from The Office where they're all standing there holding finger guns at each other. Cue the worst choreographed fight of all time.
Oh, it's so bad. But hey, it's fine. They had to
fun.
blow the budget on the exercise. They couldn't blow it on the choreography.
You gotta show that he's buff and can fight.
That one guy who keeps getting punched in the head and coming back for more.
Oh my god.
Like a bobblehead.
It does look like that. So, to like further emphasize that this movie is from like 2005, the head that they found, I guess they sent it off for evidence. And I guess to try to bring some kind of science fiction type element to scientific science to this film.
Yeah, that's what they were doing in here, some scientific science.
Literally, that is a line from them. I'm not even exaggerating. No. I guess they send the head off to get like tested for DNA, and the DNA comes back to be part wolf, part human, which is something that's mentioned a lot in the documentary. Sure, but it's facts to them.
Zoologist loves to say it's almost human. He's talking about how there's like giant canines. He's like, but the rest of the bite, it's almost human. And then later he says something else. And he's like, yeah, just examining this.
It's human.
It's almost human. So the wife beater dude dies. He got ripped open, and they're at the funeral. And the wife doesn't tell the cop that the husband is dead, because the cop's like, where's your husband? Which, good for her.
She's like, he's out of town.
In someone's stomach, got him.
We got another kill that I would say is like not the best one. It's a little weird. They're in the car. The dude with the early 2000s emo hair, like we mentioned earlier.
Yeah, all-time low style hair.
Yep.
Yeah.
He's taking a picture with his camera phone.
This is my picture phone.
Picture phone. And you're like, what picture phone? I'm like, yeah, I remember at that
Calling
time.
it a picture phone?
Yeah, it's a camera phone. It was called a camera phone.
Wow.
Because you had to distinguish that it had a camera.
Because you were cool and
in
had
it.
a razor, man.
Yes, but let's talk about the quality of these pictures, which
Ooh.
is pretty much the same as my
All
razor.
2 kilobytes of it.
Yeah, it's funny because like, he's taking nudes of her with it. And I'm just like, that is some grade A quality blurry nipple you're gonna get in those pictures. So this kill scene happens where they like hear something, and typical, the dude goes to investigate. And he gets thrown against the car all bloody, and this chick runs out.
And gets her leg eaten? And,
Yeah.
and crawls away while he's eating her leg. She's like crawling away for her life. And he's just like, let me eat this leg right. Or she, which we find out later, is like, let me eat this leg right now. Later too, she attacks people, but also takes time to eat.
Yeah, that's
Takes a
you
snack.
gotta get your well-balanced meal in.
While fighting?
Yes.
You don't ever just be punching
If this
somebody?
is the only time you eat, you gotta focus on it.
Yeah?
Yes.
You just mid-punch snack?
Don't you get hungry when you're fighting people?
No. You're just bleeding and hurt.
Her running in the woods, though, and like, it was a badly acted scene. The way she got killed, she was like, slowly dying.
My leg.
My leg. Also, let's talk about how this was the era of low-rise jeans. Because everyone's jeans are at their crotches, and I'm like, I'm so sad that I lived through this fashion era.
You did that? You wore that?
That was the only thing that was sold, and I was a chubby 11-year-old. It was not a good time.
Oh, no. You were living in 2005?
Probably. How
was
old
like-
am I?
I was 13.
Then yeah, I was probably 11.
Damn. That
Yeah,
wasn't a
because
problem
I
for
started
guys.
high school in 2008.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, that wasn't a problem for guys. I think everything was just baggy for me. The girl shows up at the cops and says, case solved, killed the bear.
I killed a bear, that was it. I like how this movie's like makes up for the fact that they can't show the bear by having the cop come in being like, why is there a bear in the lobby?
And you never see the bear.
Never see the bear.
I thought I had just missed it.
No.
Okay.
If they had a bear, they definitely would have like
And
put it
it's
in
not even-
every scene.
It's not even that hard to just get like a fake bear.
A CGI bear.
You can go to like Spirit Halloween and get like
You can
a
put a
bear
dude
head.
in a costume. We get the scene where the two brothers are like trying to hook up with the girls from Schaumburg.
And you get the big one and I get the other one.
Yeah.
The one that I want. And they're just fighting each other in front of the girls, and the guy's like, look at that pickup line.
It's terrible. Let's make out.
She's the one who's like, you want to make out? He's like, I thought you'd never ask.
Yeah, it's so badly acted. The two girls there are not good actors either.
So, pointing this out for later, there's a fridge with a lock on it. A lock and chain, which apparently holds where the guns are. You remember this?
No, I did not, but I believe you.
Really?
Because logically, why wouldn't you keep your firearms
Later, it's
cool?
where the third brother comes to the cops and is like, y'all want to get these guns? And he pulls out Uzis and AK-47s.
Oh,
and
yes,
shit.
he does. He like
Out of the
pulls out a
fridge.
whole arsenal,
Yeah.
which I'm sure is accurate for small town America.
Well, and I was like, is that a Uzi? What the hell are you doing with a Uzi in Wisconsin, bro?
Deer hunting.
Why? With an Uzi, that thing's not shooting back at you. Jesus Christ.
They've evolved to shoot back at you. These brothers are also killed by the beast along with their dates. And this is kind of like the final show off, right? Because the other brother feels guilty that he wasn't there, and he goes to the cop and is kind of like, you need me to help you fight this beast.
And the cryptozoologist is like, I'm going with you too.
And there's like this moment where he pulls out like wolfsbane
And Nightshade.
And Nightshade, which is a common mythology. They did the minimum research here. The brother points out something funny, though, because he's like, you plan to get that close to it? That's a short needle. He's like, fair point.
They're making homemade silver bullets.
They are.
You see the cop
a whole montage.
he holds the silver bullet tip to the camera.
Yeah.
And it's dramatic, and then the next scene is them getting ready for that night. Kelly, who is the bartender, and the cop have officially been hooking up,
kinda.
She's like, don't go, just leave with me.
They do go out to hunt for this thing, and immediately, like, you can't even clearly tell. The cryptozoologist is, like, sliced in the throat.
All of them are just immediately dispatched.
The brother gets in a couple shots and is also slit through the throat.
But not dead either
Not
of them.
dead. Not dead either of them. They just got cut. And then the sheriff chases the beast into the bar where he believes Kelly is. And then he's like, Kelly, let's get out of here. I shot the beast in the leg. And then it pans to Kelly and she's like, having the worst period of her life.
And not wearing pants?
Yeah. No, because she's like, if I said I cut myself, like, cleaning up the bar, would you believe me or whatever?
She's also not wearing pants, though. She's
wearing a skirt.
Giant... Oh, is that what it was? I thought it was
like
just a giant plaid shirt.
No, she's wearing a miniskirt and her legs, like, bleeding, obviously.
Either way, she changed really fast because he chases right after.
She transformed with clothes on, okay?
Oh.
She's not a dude werewolf. She has some class.
She just grows the hair over the clothes?
The hair turns into the clothes.
Oh.
Yes.
Fuck. Animorph style.
Yeah!
Throwback.
I haven't read those books in forever.
Oh, you want to know another movie that this guy came up with? Leigh Scott.
What?
You know Transformers?
Uh-huh.
Transmorphers.
Transmorphers. Did he get to make it? Because I would watch it for the laughs.
I don't know, but the third one I saw was like a Terminator ripoff too.
Oh, man. Yeah. What fun. What a country we live in where you could just live out your dreams like that. And this is where we find out that she is the werewolf. This movie is so distracting with bad acting that I did not see this twist coming.
I'm telling you, everyone comes into the scene to just die.
Yeah.
The hunters show up out of nowhere and they're like, ah! And they're like running because they got their guns and their orange, like, reflective clothes on. But both of them get killed immediately for some reason. So they just showed up to die.
Yeah, but before that, I wanted to point out, because Pamela does fucking finally show up. And this just goes to show you how much small town people will believe their own over an outsider, because the sheriff's literally telling her, like, Kelly's a werewolf, and she shoots him. Because Kelly's like, no, he's the werewolf.
And I knew it was gonna be the bulletproof vest thing, obviously.
Obviously. Because a werewolf's gonna shoot you.
Eats the cop.
Pamela, yeah. And then that's when she eats the other two hunters. Speaking of out of nowhere, the brother...
Comes back out of nowhere.
Comes back. Does he shoot her up with the wolfbane?
The Ebola virus for werewolves.
Oh yeah, what a reference of the time.
I think he injected her.
In the bar?
Yeah, I think he injected her inside.
So it weakened her. She still killed everybody. And then the brother comes back and, like, shoots her up with the silver bullet, right?
Yes. The hunters, although showed up unnecessarily, obviously they needed a way to, like, light this thing on fire. So the hunters' only point of showing up was that they had gas in the car. And the one before he gets killed throws gas on top of the werewolf before he dies.
And lights her on fire. And we get a cool, like, gooey corpse-looking thing. And it's kind of like, you think she's dead, but she comes back from the dead.
And attacks them. And then they unload their entire clip in
of silver bullets, and that's how she dies. Then,
but sequel potential.
Oh yeah, this movie has so much sequel potential.
They all bro out.
Not only did the brother survive, but the cryptozoologist, and the cryptozoologist is giving him like a suitcase full of needles and is like, this should get you through the full moon.
Through the next, yeah, it's like the next one's in 15
days or
and
whatever.
We'll see you in 17 or
yeah.
something like that. What does that mean?
He comes back human. Away from people, not to hurt them, I'm assuming.
Oh, so he's like, I'll see you when I'm human again?
Yeah, because the sheriff takes him to, like, a cabin where I'm assuming he's going to keep an eye on him.
Unload his entire clip into him?
Also, sexually. But...
Okay.
That's how you made it sound. They're going away for a romantic weekend.
Unload his clip into him that he trained 6 months for?
With push-ups.
That was the cryptozoologist.
He stays behind, but he's also a werewolf.
Yeah, because he also got slashed by the werewolf.
Yeah, so we got 2 more werewolves. Guys, you made the problem worse than solving anything.
Right, and the cop's just cool with it.
Yeah, it's cool.
The entire movie's point is that the cop's trying to stop this, and he's just like, all right, cool, I guess.
You know how you stop it? You create 2 more werewolves.
And let them live and let your girlfriend die?
Yes. Moral of the story. And then the film is dedicated to the people of Wisconsin.
Yes, the great state of Wisconsin.
I think Wisconsin deserves a better movie.
Oh. Hey.
They tried.
Second Salem loved it.
Did they love it? They just told us to watch it. No, again, this movie is just fun because it's terrible.
It's gonna be probably like one of our least known movies that we cover.
But probably our funniest to cover because it's just so wild.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, that was that.
What would you rate it?
3.
Okay. I'm gonna give it a 2.
Oh, really? Yeah.
2.5. Okay,
kills were
the kills
crazy.
are good. The
Yeah.
kills are good, and it's a fun time.
You should go into this if you do end up watching it, knowing that it will not be the best movie
Horror
out there.
movie you've ever seen. It is fun.
These cheesy horror films are like,
It's super fun to laugh at.
they've got some charm.
Yeah. But do you want to talk about what scared Loki this week?
We ended that so bored. Like, ugh, that was hard. That was brutal.
That was so difficult on our part to cover.
Yeah. But yeah, what did scare Loki? The crows.
The crow.
The birds that were silent but not silent.
He's like, I'm not supposed to hear them. I hear them.
You know, it was funny when we watched the documentary. That guy said that he left the deer out, and he's like, the body was there, and then the fog came, and then the deer body was gone. But the entire time that the fog is passing, supposedly while this is going on, there's like a bird in the front that doesn't move at all.
Oh, yeah, that's true. Not scared by the
Maybe
fog.
the birds are all in on it. You know how there's like a theory that birds are not real, right?
The birds work for the bourgeoisie. Do you want to tell us about it?
We'll keep an eye out for the crows.
I don't like birds either. I'm not a fan.
You're not a fan of crows? You hate
Of birds, I don't like them.
Crows are fun though. They're black. No, ravens are black. I mean, crows are black.
Crows and ravens.
I don't know anything about animals, Kay. Just
Not even their
in this
colors.
movie. Just like everybody else in this movie. And Wisconsin, apparently. According to this documentary.
No, this was just for fun, for sure. I know in the Suspiria episode we said we were going to cover Saul, but we had been meaning to cover this movie forever. So
Yeah,
I
so
think
we have
that's
the
our
beer in the
movie.
fridge.
Yeah, I think that's our movie for next week.
Mhm.
Finally gonna force me to watch it. As always, we hope you guys had a good time here. You can follow us pretty much anywhere at Shaken Not Scared Pod, Instagram, Facebook. Twitter is Shaken Scared Pod. Send us an email at shakennotScaredPod@gmail.com.
You can support the show on Patreon. We'll name our next drink after you with mentions on our website where the drink page will live forever. You can listen to us on all your favorite podcasting sites, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Google, Stitcher, a bunch of others. Give us a listen. Give us a follow.
Write a review for the love of God,
Yes, please. Please do. Vivi pinches me every day we don't.
so that we don't get one. Okay, thanks, bye.
Bye!